Welcome back. We're talking about the preliminary report into the Air India crash that took place in Ahmedabad. The report says that both engines had failed and that the switch for the fuel had gone from the run position to the cutoff position, after which the pilots tried to at least salvage the situation. I'm being joined by an aviation expert, Mirza Faizan, at the moment. Thank you, Mr. Faizan, for joining us. Firstly, the question that's still looming after the preliminary report having come out is how could the switch for fuel go from run to cutoff in just seconds? And we are seeing that the report suggests there was visible confusion in the cockpit between both pilots. Now, aren't there other safeguards to avoid this type of a situation taking place?
Good morning, Aarti. Thank you for having me. So, for these fuel cutoff switch to change phase from run to cutoff, what the pilot have to do is they have to, actually there are inbuilt checks designed to that. They have to pull it out and then change the phase, change the state of this, right? And another safety feature which they have, and especially on Boeing 787 cockpit, is they have small panels on both sides of the fuel cutoff switch, so that pilot may not and cannot accidentally change the state of the fuel control switches.
Right, and the question, of course, still arises over Boeing and the concerns that were raised earlier as well. Reports earlier by the FAA had raised concerns over perhaps the lock feature in the fuel switch not being there, and that, in fact, could have resulted in what had taken place.
I think this is too early to say that. That was not mandatory, that was an optional advisory by the FAA. So what they found out in some of the aircrafts is that the fuel cutoff switch was changing their state without the pilot have to pull it out and lock it, right? So they just issued an advisory to all the operators to see whether the lock mechanism is working properly. So this was not something which could become the reason to ground an aircraft. And should Air India have done it? Yes, they should have done it. But it was not something which was so in an emergency situation that that this could have. We can say that this is the exact reason for the crash to have occurred at this point of time.
Right, Mr. Faizan, stay on with us. We'll, of course, come back to you for more details on this and your thoughts to help us understand what we can take off from this preliminary report. For now, a short break. Welcome back. We're still being joined by Mr. Mirza Faizan, joining us as an aviation expert. Thank you, Mr. Faizan, for staying with us. We were, of course, talking about the ergonomics of the aircraft as well and the question of the fuel switch. But let's also talk about the engines. Now, what could have caused one engine to completely fail? We had seen that there were signs of another engine showing recovery, but the pilots didn't have much time. They were airborne only for 32 seconds.
So when an aircraft engine recovers after flaming out, there are three types of recovery. One is the windmill recovery process, wherein the aircraft recovers or reignites with the help of the inflow air. So the inflow air reignites circulates the blades and it reignites. For that, we need a speed of around 250 knots. Which was not there at this point of time. The maximum speed was the aircraft reached before crashing was 180 knots. So the second is the assisted recovery of the engine, wherein the APU, auxiliary power unit, assists the wind, the turbine to rotate it with the help of the wind. That was also not the case here. The restart was pure APU based, and this restart requires 30 to 90 seconds for the engine to actually fully come to give the thrust, required thrust at this point of time when the aircraft needs the maximum thrust. Now, the pilots and the engine, they just have close to 20 seconds of time. So the time was of a major factor up here for the engine not recover in the aircraft, for aircraft to unfortunately come down.
Right, and Mr. Faizan, what could perhaps be the possible reasons? Of course, we'll have to wait for the final report to be able to put our fingers on exactly what happened. But to help us understand how the switch could have gone from run to cutoff, is it a possible wiring fault, a software glitch that could have perhaps taken place, or a maintenance check issue? What are the possible possibilities behind this taking place?
See, for the switch to change the state mechanically, as I said, the pilot have to actually pull the lever towards themselves and then change the state. So I do not see any reason the switch can change the state, inadvertently or by mistake. And both the switch changing at the same time is as rare as both the engine flaming out at the same time. So what I think at this point of time, it either might be a serious mechanical failure, it could be a serious electrical failure, or some sort of failure where uncommanded system behavior is occurring in the aircraft, right? I mean, the system is behaving uncommanded. So these are the three possibilities for both the fuel control switch to change state at the same time without pilots intending to do that.
Right, and Mr. Faizan, as per the report as well, the standard emergency procedure for such a situation from cutoff to run, and then there's auto start and deploy RAT. But the timeline of this seems to be longer, which took place at this moment. So is this common, or is this perhaps a possible deviation or an error?
No, I mean, what happens at this point of time is that it's an APU logic which kicks in. That's this is predefined logic where the APU starts the whole reigniting engine process. So 30 to 90 seconds is a design limit timeline. Expecting engine failure at this height, this speed, at this stage of flight, and expecting the engine to reignite is something engineers and designers and even the technology itself is not capable of at this point of time.
Right, and Mr. Faizan, could this have been anticipated, or is this completely unprecedented?
No, I think it is completely unprecedented because we do not anticipate, as I said, that this is not even taken in our design parameters. Like what will you do? How do pilots bring up the engines when they are at couple of hundred feet up in the air? I mean, this is really unprecedented and unfortunate event.
Right, and before we let you go, sir, there has been an instance before as well where a flight was mid-flight. This was a Boeing 787 as well, and we've seen that the pilots had more time to then bring the switch back from cutoff to run. So time had played a crucial role at this moment in this incident as well, sir.
I agree with you. Yes, as I said, it requires 30 to 90 seconds. Had the aircraft being at say like 2,000 or 3,000 feet,
right.
Even in that situation, pilot could have tried their luck, but they were just ran out of luck at this point of time.